Aha! Welcome everyone. Welcome to Drakenmemoria. For those wondering what this is, well, it's about Dungeons and Dragons. More specifically, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So if this is not something that you want to watch, well, depending on where you're watching this from, you have suggestion either on your left or your right. For everyone else who actually wants to be here, because they've had fun in the past, because someone told them it was fun being here, just because you're curious, whatever the reason, if you want to be here, it's a pleasure to have you with us. No matter if it's because it's your first time or if you've come back from a past experience. Yeah, that's about it. That's what happens when you're a small channel. You don't have a lot to say. And I don't know why, but your camera fisher is gonna bug the heck out of me for a while.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know, ever since you came back, it's weird. It's too short on each side.
On Twitch, not your camera.
So why are the values different on each side? Yeah, that's better. Don't ask me why it happened, but it happened. So, for some reason, it added a margin of 50 on one side. So, mysteries of programming. Alright, so. What happened in the last few episodes? I guess that's the only thing we can start with. Oh no, of course, if you're hearing a sound of rain, it's not because it suddenly started raining outside where you live. It's just one of the ambient music that we have. So right now it's Thunderstorm. If you like it, there's a link below. Ambient Mixer. It allows you to build or choose from things that other people have built. It only costs to download. So you can play with it as much as you want. You can build whatever you want. You only have to pay when you want to download it. And that's about it. As for those who might be rating us later on, well, the only one I can be sure of is probably Chaotic Calling. So thank you in advance. For the others that have been rating us recently, well, I'll have to wait until you rate us to know which one it's gonna be. But thank you in advance. That's about it. Anyone want to say something before I start the recap of last episode? Inspiring words, song, dance, expression of pain.
You know what? Sometimes squirrels forget where they bury their nuts, and that turns into a beautiful tree later.
Yeah.
So you know what? Even your mistakes have unexpected positive consequences in the world.
Moral of the story? Never forget to bury your nuts. Good one, good one. Alright, so let's start the episode. Last few episodes, well, basically, the party has been completing... Nice. The party has been completing their shopping list. Buying whatever they needed to buy, collecting what needed to be collected, and now they have just came back from a curious expedition into the gnomish quarter, the research and development quarter, as it's been called recently. Well, aside from a few unexpected side effects while leaving this place, namely Jord suddenly becoming covered in moss and sprouting red micro flowers when instead of bruising, everything has been going mostly well. Tobiyashi has been slightly humiliated, and audience traumatized. Slightly traumatized. But other than that, everyone seems to be escaping this excursion without any additional trauma, pain, lasting side effect. Although we're not sure with George, but at least it's something he can live with.
Yeah, I can get used to it.
Yeah. Although there's the smell.
I can get used to that too.
Okay. Remember to bury your nuts before leaving. Alright. But last episode, when we all left, I believe Jorg and Fisher were going to the Arboretum to see if they could wash off the moss, I believe. And audience, Tobiyashi and Remy went to the tavern, where there is, on the third floor, a large board where quests are written on. Something that Tobiyashi is very eager to see, as he has a few quests he'd like to see if it's possible to have. And of course, audience is also always very eager to see what kind of quest there might be there. Who knows? Could be something interesting, something that gets him to have more riches, more magical object, getting to know new girls.
And glory. Don't forget glory.
Yeah. Those are the what audience's brain is always focusing on. Gold, glory, girls. That's about exactly where we are. So, who shall we start with? That's interesting.
That's my.
You're breaking up.
I said that.
Yeah, that's exactly what we heard.
That's what it sounded like you said.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
Nothing has changed. Alright, so let's go with even up and odd down. Apparently, we're going with even up. Alright, so, Jorgen Fisher. You make your way...
Fisher.
Yes?
Sorry.
What did you say?
I don't know what I did. I just said Jordan and Fisher.
Yeah, that's
I
you.
don't know why I did that.
Well, good. Let's go.
Alright, well, since it's not raining inside the Arboretum, we're gonna close the rain. Alright, so, you make your way inside the large Arboretum. It takes... Good lord, what's happening? Sounds like Tobiyashi slipped on something.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, my phone fell in a bunch of soda and my mic is all messed up. I'm trying to fix it.
That explains a few sounds we've heard.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why you shouldn't place your drink next to your phone. They're supposed to be a little bit of
It wasn't
distance.
even right. It was a distance. It just knocked over and then it ended up hitting my soda and then it fell on the ground. And now my soda's everywhere.
That's alright, there's a McDonald's not far.
Hopefully.
Alright. Alright, so, Jorgen Fisher. Like I said, it takes a little while. You go through the fields. Well, actually, there's not a lot of ponds in the field. So if you really want to go where you have ponds, you're going to have to go through the fields, then the forest, or you can stay on the outskirts of the forest, not having to enter it. And then you're going to get where all of the small gardens are, where there's a variety of small ponds, and where Fisher has spent a few days sleeping at one point. So, I imagine you're going at the garden section of the Arboretum?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
that would make the most sense.
Okay. Then in that case, you make your way. Sounds a little bit weak. All right. So, sorry. You are okay. You are making your way to these little gardens. It takes you probably in total something like 3/4 of an hour, but you get there. And as always, especially on that moment during the day, you would be hold on. Audiences came back, which means it's probably getting a little bit late. So you see a lot more people walking by, mostly gnomes again. Gnomes, a little bit of dwarves, one or two half elves, and a few adventurers. All taking advantage of these beautiful small ponds and improvised garden. So, what are you going to do in there?
I want to find a pond that's got as few people around it as possible.
It's a large place, so it's easily doable. Takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then you find one. Oh, good. There's only one gnome looking at the pond.
Hopefully not for long.
Seems to be trying to play with a fish.
Well, I'm just going to head
Probably
in.
get a swamp monster nickname or something.
Yeah, I just realized they're not gonna really. I don't look like any creature that exists, or specific ones. Yeah, I'm pretty spooky.
I think
Yeah,
you're I think you're underestimating what these gnomes have seen in their lives.
All right.
So, as you're making your way to this pond, probably Fisher, you probably hear this internal monologue going. So, you're saying what you mean to say is that the one that's supposed to be the wisest of your group drank a potion from a gnome he'd never seen before.
Well, he was doing it for me, so you know.
And that passes as
That's good
wise in
enough
your
for me.
world.
I mean,
Things have changed since the last time I was awake.
honestly, it speaks more to his character than if he was stupid. It means he probably understood the risk and took it anyway.
Is that your assessment of the situation? Well, that explains a few events. Okay.
You never taken a risk before? I know you were kind of meant to just do a job, and you know,
Well, every time
people generally don't like to take risks when they're hiring you.
Well, every time I go offline, it is a risk. Last time I went offline, centuries went by before I was reactivated. There's always a source of bad anticipation whenever that happens.
No. Well, then you ended up with me, so obviously that risk paid off, right?
So that's your assessment of the situation. Alright. Now I know why he's the wisest.
Always a pleasure, Taranad.
Meanwhile, as you're hearing Fisher talk to himself, as he often does,
Just
yeah,
get in the water and start scrubbing with that bar of soap I got.
you see this gnome that looks at you arriving. Ah, I knew. I read about this. So you're the thing that keeps rising from the depth of those ponds. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, it's nice to meet you. I
That's me,
sure do keep rising. Oh,
actually, that he's talking about.
you keep rising from the pond.
Yeah. He's new.
So now there's gonna be 2 of them.
Yeah, I'm slowly making my way through the entire garden. I might come for you next.
I don't know if I
Happy
should feel
post Halloween,
flattered.
everybody.
I don't know if I should feel flattered or endangered. I am living mixed feeling here. It's
Why not feel both?
well, I am. That's why it's confusing. Huh.
Scram, he's kind of shy about it.
Oh, right. Those kind of monsters. Oh, okay. He turns around. He just turns around. He doesn't go away.
I will undress to some extent. Not all the way, but I'm not bathing in my clothes.
As far as you can tell, it's all mossy.
All right.
Goes
Also wanna say to
everywhere.
Fisher, 2 weeks ago I didn't even think constructs could have friends, let alone that I'd ever have one as mine.
So we're friends then?
I would say so.
Hey, look at me go.
You not make a lot of those?
I mean, not really.
Yeah.
I have a rather off-putting presence, apparently.
It doesn't help that you talk to yourself, apparently.
That's a recent thing. Ever since I got Taranad.
I imagine being autonomous didn't help your social skills.
It's kind of weird when most people assume that you're talking to them on orders from somebody else to do something instead of, something for yourself.
Yeah.
There's a reason I spent the majority of my sentient life in one of the biggest cities in the world, and the only friend I had was, my instructor.
Yeah. It's sounds tough for you guys. There's no way to distinguish unless you get to know one.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. But what about you?
Me? I grew up in another island chain. So I'm relatively new here. But I could have done a whole lot of damage if I had succeeded. Tried to
In what?
bring in a foreign plant of all things. It would have been too prosperous here, and I knew I shouldn't, and my god knew I shouldn't, so she crashed my ship.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Ultimately,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
learned
again, we'll do again.
I learned a lot. Yeah.
If you knew you shouldn't do it, why did you do it?
I thought it was for the greater good. The plant had healing properties that are very rare, and from the other island chain, they were not as easy to grow, or they could be, but they were highly controlled for their value. So I thought I'd make it more plentiful and easier to come by, and I didn't consider the balance of the natural order of things.
That does seem to be a pretty important thing to your kind.
Yeah. Really, it's important to all kind, but we're the ones that think about it.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah. Guess maybe it's not as important to think about it as some of us think it is, but it is important to recognize.
Mm-hmm. Is that part of the reason you're so willing to help with this hunter god stuff?
Yeah. They're pretty disruptive to the natural order of things. You gotta hunt, but you can't go willy-nilly with it. You can overhunt a population.
Mm-hmm.
And also, hunting is one link in a very long chain of I guess the natural order.
Is that part of the reason? Where do I fit into the natural order?
That's part of the reason I'm interested in you. Not interested, romantically, but I awkwardly cover up a little bit.
I'm not interested in anybody romantically. You're good
Okay.
on that front.
Yeah, I wondered.
I'm just imagining the casualty of this conversation. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
It's good. It's
interested in you.
good. Don't worry about it.
Look, it's not like I'm imagining this scene, but instead it's Pocahontas and John Smith at the waterfall, and one of them's bathing. And I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Mm-hmm. Why would you be more comfortable if I wasn't looking at you while we were having this conversation?
We've watched other men bathe.
You hear the gnome go, if he can watch, why can't I?
He doesn't know you.
I
Also, I'm not a man, but
It's not fair.
Nobody cares.
You hear from inside of you. You really need to learn to talk with people in general.
You don't help.
I don't have to talk with people in general. You do.
Oh,
Sorry, I wasn't talking to you.
I see.
And yes, I have seen your comment, person looking through Sam's camera.
Amazing. Yeah. Sorry, I just get a lot of non-constructive criticism.
I see. That's not handy.
No, it's really not. Any of the moss coming off?
No, it seems to be a part of me for now, at least.
Seems to be growing
But-
a bit because of the increased quantity of water.
Oh, nice. I feel hydrated. I haven't drank anything.
Looks a little more
Do I smell
thick.
better?
Well, the smell of the soap is rubbing off a bit.
It's strong, rather conflicting smells still, but like when you walk into I guess it's an apothecary, and they got all the weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of different smells, but they're all really strong. So it kind of
Yeah.
it's not great,
You hear
but it's better.
from inside
than
of
just
you.
that.
Get a very good
From inside of you, Fisher, you hear. Well, I was more gonna go with the old noble lady going to a perfume store, but yeah, you can go with that.
Never been around an old noble lady.
And that's what you hear, George.
Me neither. Strange thing to say. Anyway, speaking of apothecaries, I bet we could get some kind of perfume or something to mask my odor from
No.
one of them. They know what they're
Might be
doing.
able to get a discount if you just refuse to leave.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
walk in.
Or donate
Yeah.
some of my herbs.
Don't call it that.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
I always wondered why stuff doesn't grow on me.
yeah.
I figure it's got something to do with the fact that
You didn't drink a potion?
the organic part of me is too, I don't know, magically infused to have something grow out of it. Plant-based, that
Yeah.
is.
Maybe it's the same way
I grew a
we-
slug, so who knows?
that is a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Yeah, you don't get like diseases and stuff or like fungus growing on you.
No.
Maybe you have. I don't think Jorg knows about immune systems, but maybe you have a.
Well, you don't know them in those terms, but
Yeah.
you know of the
I don't know what
principle
terms
that
I'd use.
people are resistant or not to disease. You know, some people can just roll in the mud, play all day, and never get sick, and some people just go out and they get a cold. So,
Perhaps the reason. I don't know if reasons for existence are real, but your reason for existence could be that the soul had to fill a niche, and constructs bodies could house a soul somehow. Life finds a way.
interesting.
I feel like
Ah.
I've heard that before somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is kind of weird being. I mean, yeah, that it doesn't help that I look drastically different than everybody else, but also the fact that
Now I look drastically different from everybody else.
yeah, but you still eat and drink and sleep, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but we'll see. Probably.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll be a plant-based construct from here on out. That would be kind of neat. I just thought of that outside of the game.
Olnak just walks by, turns their head, shakes it, continues walking.
I don't think it's a construct if you weren't constructed by somebody.
No.
I mean, I guess you could argue, your god or whatever constructed you, but if that was the case, then
Probably.
Everyone's a construct.
yeah.
Yeah. And if everyone's a construct, no one is.
Okay.
I'm a construct of the Lord.
Mhm.
Well, in this world, it would be lords with an S.
Mhm.
The Lord just is.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe you should do a full dunk and hang out down there for a while.
Yeah.
He's gonna see some fish.
I'll do that. Just try to rinse off the rest of my stink.
Just don't drown, I guess.
I'll
I
try
don't know
not
how
to,
long
thanks.
people. Yeah, I know they
Yeah,
can't do what I can
my body
do. But
tells me when I need air, so
That's helpful.
I'll come up when I need to. Yeah, don't worry about me.
okay.
He doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
No, but actually, I think you can shapeshift into amphibians now.
Yep, I can. So hey,
Mossy fish.
I'm gonna transform into something. I don't want to be too big, like into a crocodile while I'm under there, and then come out and see if I'm still covered in moss.
Crocodile.
And I'll do it while I'm underwater. How clean is the water?
It's a pond. You can basically see up to 2 feet in it.
All right, cool. I guess I won't do it stealthily then. I'll just transform and
Yeah. Do I see him transforming?
Well, yeah, he's not hiding, so...
When it looks like he's preparing to come back out, I'm assuming the gnome is still standing there.
Yeah.
I'll yell at him. It looks like he's pretty much done with his transformation.
Oh, okay, so I can look now?
Yeah, if you want to watch this part, it's kind of cool.
Okay. He turns around. And he suddenly sees a crocodile coming out. So the moss isn't completely gone. It sort of found its way inside of the design that you had, except that it's not growing from everywhere. You don't have any at the bottom of your feet or on your belly, but your back is completely covered with moss. And you can see like this kelp-like leaves also growing a bit on your back. Apparently it took in a little bit of this transformation magic and adapted itself. And as soon as you come out and you turn around, just looking at everyone. You sit around and go, okay, takes one step back, two step back.
It's kind of a crapshoot. Each person's different. You know what happens.
Right, so do we know if he eats people or not?
I want to clomp my big jaws at him.
Oh dear, okay.
Looking possible. Luckily, I don't think I count.
Well, I'd say, fortunately, I have a cousin to whom it happened, so I know how to react in those things. And it's very quickly, and he starts running away. But
Does the moss still, the new crocodile moss, smell bad?
it takes a while, but the smell is a bit different. It's sort of a very fishy, kelpy smell. Like sushi that's 5 hours from going bad.
Like when you go to the beach and there's a big pile of kelp and stuff that's been out in the sun for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yes. Yeah. Well, it's different. Not necessarily better.
The gnome ran about 20 feet away and says, "So, how's it going?"
I'll shapeshift back.
"Oh, good. It puked out the guy."
Yeah, thanks.
I'm gonna stay here for
Thankfully,
now.
I survived.
I'm gonna stay here for now, just in case it comes back.
Yeah.
Be careful,
I
you
think
know,
it's-
there's a crocodile under there.
Yeah. Luckily, your gnomish magic that turned me into a moss man, it made it regurgitate me.
I don't have magic.
Ah, well, someone does.
Okay.
I'll kind of nudge him in the shins a little bit. Quietly, we're not supposed to talk about that.
Oh, it wasn't a gnome. All right. Well, hopefully I didn't just get another song for me or something.
Took me 3 weeks last time to figure it out. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna get one this episode.
All right.
All right.
Well,
So, yeah.
we should go find the others.
All right.
I think, I guess. Yeah. Maybe it is getting kind of late. Perfume shop's probably closed.
Partners.
Yeah. Can't smell that bad.
All right. So,
Okay.
defeated by a potion, you decide. But, you know, having an intriguing smell of skunk moss. And Remy, what was the smell of the soap that you gave him?
I gave him the flowery one.
So a flowery skunk moss. Moss. It's interesting mix. This little smell of I don't know, field flowers and stink beetle, you know. It's
How late is it?
in the garden it's probably somewhere around 6 and 7 o'clock. So
Right.
you're starting to see the end of the day arriving. They seem to have synced their day and night cycle with your world. So, seeing as this is, you're basically at the beginning of October, the equivalent of October. So, it's getting pretty late.
Yeah, people were starting to experience what you might call garden lag. So they figured it was best this way.
All right, and so the camera leaves our two friends, and goes to audience Tobiyashi and Remy, who are making their way to the tavern. For you, the trip takes slightly less time, as you are one section away, one section closer. You go through the knowledge quarter, and then followed by the residential quarter. So basically, half an hour, maybe around 40 minutes, you find yourself in the tavern of the garden, and you start seeing people arriving. Recognize a few shopkeepers that you've seen during the day as you were looking around. Recognize a few of the gnomes that were in the research and development quarter. Some of them are nursing bruises. Some of them are talking about experiments. Someone seems to be complaining about having been mauled by a small spider. But you see all of those people talking about as if all of this was normal. More than normal. Basically what happens every day. It's not even a Tuesday, it's a Monday night. So, you arrive in this place, and you go up to the third floor of the tavern. The tavern itself having a round shape for Tobiyashi, who's haven't been there that often. It is a very large space, round. The center has a raised platform for people to perform, play music, things like that. There are a few bars in the garden. And a lot of tables around it. The other floors, the center has been opened, so people can actually watch over at what's happening in the performance area. But tables are everywhere, and you make your way all the way to the third floor, which is exactly the same as the second floor, except there is a large board there. For you, Tobiyashi, this is a new sight. It looks like a huge slab of glass. You've never seen glass this clear. Let's face it, in the Middle Ages, they didn't have as many resources to make glass extremely clear and without any debris. Or rather, it costed a lot to do this. So you usually see glasses which are a bit more frosted, simply because most people don't have the necessary fortune to buy large glass windows. It's usually something you see by nobles or church. But this one is large, completely clear. And by large, I mean it's easily 6 or 7 feet wide and 3 or 4 feet high. You see a lot of inscription on them. Currently, you just see what seems to be a list of brief, but most of the time, explicit description. Like, you see a disturbance in a small grove. Something strange. Animals have started to gather an unusual amount of reserves in this wood. But this one seems to have been taken by a member of the garden, as you see the name of Baltus written right next to it. Keep going down, you see several of quests like this. Some of them have a bit weirder name, like looking for dragon scale, and that's it. That's all that's written in it. You get the feeling from how everything's been written more concisely in some for some example, and not so much for other, that those used to this place, most likely the inhabitant of the garden, know how to write titles for these things, but adventurers not so much. So you have all of these quests lined one after the other, and you realize that some of them have different colors: green, yellow, red. Some have colors that are a bit between, so a bit of an orange color or a bit of a very clear green color. But that is the board. That is this large board. And the writing is slightly fluorescent. So, what does audience, Tobiyashi, and Raimi do?
So, audience, we in the right place?
Yes. I would point to the board. This is where we normally receive our quests, or can look at quests. It works that basically we look for quests that are either yellow or green, because those are based on our party's level and either mean that we should be fine or that they might be challenging. Red means we basically they're outside of our skill range. Do you want to take a look, see what they are, try it out? It's a cool experience.
Let's see. What do I do? How do I try it out?
I'll show Tobiyashi kind of how to do some of the hand movements that I got taught to me.
All right. So for Tobiyashi, it's a unique experience. For the person playing Tobiyashi, it's a tactile screen. You just touch it and menus open or close. They unfold or fold back, and you get extra information. When you touch one, you have details about the location, things that might have happened, if other adventurers are already on that quest or not, or if that quest is has more information because of adventurers. You can see which adventurers are on. When you tap on the name of an adventurer, you can even have a little bit more information about the adventurer himself or herself or itself. Dungeons and Dragons. I'd like to say that there's Ishi it, but there's more than that in Dungeons and Dragons. Apparently in life also. But Dungeons and Dragons, it happened first. So yeah, you get all of these information right at your fingertips, and you realize that also that when you tap on one of those quests, immediately the color readjusts. It changes. So when you tap on the quests that I mentioned before with the other person that's already on it, Baltus, the quest become green when you touch it, and you have a little bit more information. He is a druid also, and that's why he's doing this quest.
All right. Let's see.
There are a lot of quests. There are quests about finding special regent for spells. There are investigation quests, as the garden is very much curious about the world. They like having more information about ruins, about lore, history, what happens, strange metal, strange mineral. So a lot of investigation. There are some relationships to be built also. You see contract for building relationship on a town where they exploit a special kind of herbs, which has special properties. There's someone currently doing that quest. And of course, there are simply hunting quests where there's a problem. The beast has been seen somewhere, and there's a rumor in this region that people want this beast to be slain because it's disturbing the peace, killing people, livestock, and so on. There is a very large variety of quests.
I'll look for one that says something. I'm looking for elementals, so I'll look for something that mentions that. I'll just start clicking around, and then we'll see.
And while he's out, checking his Facebook feed, checking his Twitter feed.
Yeah.
No, that's audience.
So-
He's checking the Facebook of the female members of the garden.
No. He'd be checking their Instas. Let's be clear here.
So yeah, I'm looking for anything that mentions an elemental.
Okay.
Good or bad.
Well, you look around in those quests, and there is mention of a possibly. There's a mention that it seems to be a recurring quest. There is a mention of a water elemental disturbing fishing in the northern part of the Twin Lakes. Apparently, a group of people did a quest there a few weeks ago, and there's a problem once again. You have mentioned... Oh, okay. We lost someone for a moment.
We don't want to... Toby, we don't want to go back there.
Oh, okay. The next one? That one? Alright.
I just want to imagine this audience just like taking Toby's hand and just like scooching it away from that one.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Although you did make a friend at the bottom of the lake. But you also got scared beyond belief. So... there is a mention of a... most likely what looks like earth elementals causing trouble in the very southern part of the island. Small village between the lake and the mountains, between the Kalanya Lake and the mountain range that is just beyond it. They do say that they often go in the mountains collecting different kind of herbs and mushrooms. Some of them have special properties, and rumors has that they think it's something that has to do with earth elementals causing problem.
Alright, I'll click on it. Click on it more. How do I accept this audio? I just keep clicking.
Audience is gonna look at it. What is the color of the quest?
The color of the quest is yellow, but you also see that the quest itself, and knowing a little bit about the island chain, you know that this is completely south of the island chain. You'd basically be going back to nearly to Sutien, where almost all of this has started.
Yeah. Is there a portal down near there? So would the travel be as long?
Well,
we know?
you have two options. You could go back to Talteran. There is a portal there. It would be the closest. You could also go to Soutien, which they have also made a portal there. It would be slower to get there, but maybe a bit less risky, or you'd have also a better idea of everything that's happening, since the road would take you close to the mountain for an entire day.
So how many travel days would it be from either city?
I know for a fact I don't have it.
Well, if you go one town a day, it would be from Tolteron, it would be 3 days, maybe half a day to get where they want you to go. And from Soutien, it would be...
Also, you both got the equal amount of...
It would be 5 days.
So I'll tell Toby. It'd be a bit of travel for this one. Is there any other quests in the area that we can accept along with it, or no? I'll click on quests that are in the area.
From the area, well, there is a very large forest next to Tolteran. And a lot of travelers have been reporting that they've been having trouble getting through the forest. And there most likely is a monster or a group of monsters living in there. No official forces have gone into there, so they placed the quest at a yellow level, mostly because there is very little information about what's going on in this place. It could be a small monster, it could be a very dangerous monster.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So we got two. I'll tell Toby. So there basically are 2 quests in that area. Both are yellow. One with not a lot of information, and one that's if we took the shorter route, a 3-day away travel, but we know what we'd be fighting.
Right. I mean, we have to wait for stuff anyways, so the quest. Okay, just rest of the group about it.
I didn't get everything you said. There was a bit of a interruption when you were talking.
I said, okay, so we'll take the quest, okay, but I'll take it just in case we go over there, and we'll ask the rest of our group to see it.
Okay. Audience, because of your interests, you have interest in the northern part of the island. You know that there are currently 2 adventurers trying to look for the Silver-Tongued Bard. And one of them is researching from the northern part, not northern part, but towns and villages that are north of Otanel. And another one is looking for those south of Otanel. So you know that one of them is probably gonna find the bard at one point. You notice something that might be interesting also. There is a coastal village that is northwest of a town called Septane. Usually nothing bad happened there, but they've sent out a distress call, if you could call it, because apparently winter has set in way sooner than it should. There is literally ice off the shore, which can indicate an elemental disturbance. There hasn't been any elemental sighting, but from what you know, this could be a sliver of an elemental shard affecting the environment, which can result in a portal to an elemental plane. It would remain in the area where the bard might have been seen, so you would be able to interfere or go to the bard in only maybe 2 or 3 days. But there's not a lot of quest other than that one. You do see that there is one person already on the quest, but the person has sent a call for help.
Who is it? Do I know the person or no?
No, you've never seen this name. The name just reads Connie. From what you know of how names are supposed to sound, it's most likely a female name. It's
Audience is saying.
No more information needed. Let's take it. Yeah, let's go. No.
It's either
It's like, and accept.
it's either an elven name which has been given a bit of a human feel to it, or the other way around. A human name that has been given a little bit of elven feel to it. So it could be a half-elf.
Okay.
We swipe right.
And at what level is that quest? Is that yellow or?
It's when you tap on it, it goes to yellow, and there is a mention that it was previously believed to be simply a disturbance in the season, but the adventurer there has logged monsters roaming in the water.
Okay.
So it's been increased to the yellow level.
Okay. I'll point it out to Toby as well. I'll point this one out to Toby as well and be like, if you want to we can discuss it with our party, of course, when the rest of them get here. But as you know, we got the prophecy from, and obviously our main quest is still to deal with the hunter god, and our next step in that is going to be looking for this bard who has information, who I know at the moment is up north, and there's a chance that these might be elementals, so I don't know, it's up to you, but I think it might be in our best interest to go north first and then see if we can find this bard, get some more information, and once we do that, basically go and figure out, what's going on in the south, if those quests are still open.
All right, that sounds good. I pick up my ball and kind of like talk to him. I'm like, so you feel like eating something?
There is a vibration. You have come to know this vibration as a good anticipation.
All right. I get where you're coming from, I think. And yeah, so let's ask the rest of our group once we meet up with them here. We'll discuss it.
All right. So, after this,
anything you want to do here, Remy?
Acknowledgement. Amazing.
You exist.
Oh God.
You kind of just been standing there. I'm not used to you being that silent,
Well, actually, really thinking about it, that would be the exact opposite conclusion to come to. But
exactly.
It probably what you should have said is, "I'm not used to seeing you." Period.
Yeah, you're not usually like in our split up group, so I want to know what you want.
I mean, I imagine at the very least, as audience and Tobayashi were having this conversation between the two of them, Raimi would have been looking for signs of apart from the ones that you already mentioned, but but quests that seem to be more like related to to fetching something.
Okay. Something in particular?
Not necessarily in particular, but Raimi is still kind of like looking around for feathered creatures, so
Okay.
if there are any quests that might bring them to an area where there might be a notable feathered creature.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So to go to the town where audience is the most interest in, of course, from Otanel, you can take the merchant road, and with Fisher, it would be faster to reach Septane. But if you go another direction from Nafair, which is the largest capital city, where the one where the royal family is for humans. You can also take the merchant road and get to Septane at roughly the same time. However, if you take a half-a-day detour on that, there is a small village close to a mountain where they don't know what it is, but they do claim that something has been snatching up sheeps. The only clue they have is a large feather.
Does the feather come within, or does the mention of the feather come with a description or an image, or is that
Feather. Hold on.
As Remy ignores me, I'm like, wow, bird a few words like always.
Well, he only half ignores you. You ask him if there's something he wants, then suddenly he goes to the board and starts looking at things.
He's showing you. Ugh.
Okay, so...
Go pee, because I have to go pee.
Okay. That's all right.
Commitment.
We understand.
Commitment
suddenly, and people remember one time that we said, "Hey, I need to go pee." And we'll just say it at random times for no reason.
The feather. I don't know why my computer is lagging a little bit. It doesn't want to go down as quickly as. Alright. I believe this is. The feather has a bit of a purple color to it. Deep blue, slightly purple, color.
In which case, Raimi just kind of dragging this particular box to the forefront of the screen to show audience and Tobiyashi when he stops peeing in the corner of the tavern.
Yeah, no, yeah. I came back from peeing. I found a nice little house plant.
Trust.
That's what I thought. As you were doing this, when you take your pants up again and you turn around, you have a gnome looking at you, Tobiyashi, saying, "Intriguing."
I'm sorry, I really had to go. I didn't know where the bathroom was. I mean, I could have just asked, but My friend actually trying to show me something over here, so we could talk about this later.
You see him take a ball made of metal, unlatch it, take a sample of the earth that you just peed in, close it again, pockets it,
What the?
and he goes away.
Oh gosh! Oh no! I'm gonna become a science experiment. Okay. So, audience, should we take this? What, you don't think it's too far away from what we're trying to do?
I mean, I was gonna wait for the rest of the party to make a decision.
Okay. All right. We'll wait for the rest of the party.
I'm sure we'll smell them before they arrive.
Yeah.
In which case, hold on. I'll go ahead and roll a perception. Because I'm cheeky like that. Wait, is that hold on, is that an 11 or a 17? Can't tell. Okay, no, it's an 11. So that'll be a soft 20.
Okay.
Does Raimi smell door coming?
So, take a moment after showing Tobiyashi everything, selecting a quest that you think might be interesting also. And you take a moment and... Well, there's a lot of things there's a lot of smells mixing in from the tavern, where there's a lot of people, as we could hear a few moments ago. It's becoming very busy. There's a lot of bottle sounds and people talking. I'm sorry, that's a little bit mean.
It's ambiance.
Yeah, no, this is the right ambiance. There was the only thing that was missing was the a bit of music. Not copyrighted music, I mean.
They were all singing a second ago, but I muted for that, so you actually missed out.
That could have been copyrighted music. I'm okay with it. Then you take a moment and again... Yep, smell like your soap has just walked inside the tavern. Mix in with an interesting smell. And you don't know why, but it smells a bit like pee around you. So, yes, at the bottom floor, you see Jorger entering the tavern with Fisher, and suddenly you hear silence on the first floor. You see a lot of the adventurers just looking at you strangely, some of them going and trying to go back to their conversation. Oddly enough, most of the gnomes, you just see them go and start talking again as if that was so normal for them.
So strange.
You even
I
see,
wonder why they did that.
you even see one arriving with a small knife and looking at you and say, "Can I take a sample?"
Where are you gonna put the knife?
Where I'm gonna take the sample.
Where are you gonna take the sample? You can cut off a small piece of moss. Just don't cut my skin, please.
It depends if the sample comes off. We'll see. So is there a place you don't want me to take a sample?
This is an important question, George.
Under my clothes. Anything obscured by clothes is off limits.
Oh, well, that's slightly disappointing, but alright. He goes on the back of your hand, and you feel the blades scraping on your hand. You know you're gonna have some bloody blisters under it because he's scraping pretty hard. But in grand total, maybe you lost half a hit point with this. But he's just scraping it. Okay, well that might be enough. Can I have one from under your feet?
Fine. I'll take my boot off.
And again, you feel that knife just going.
It tickles on my foot. Jerks.
There goes the other half of the hit point.
Oh no!
So now you lost a full hit point. All right. That should be enough. I can do something. Are you sure I can't go under your shirt?
You owe me a beer if you do.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Usually, exit points are very useful. So, which exit point do you want me to take the sample out of?
You said shirt.
He looks at you. Well, you tucked your shirt inside of your. So.
Look, he's just trying to get to the root of the problem, so let him just take his knife to your root and just take care of it.
You know, come back to me when I'm really drunk, and we'll see.
All right, that's a deal. He turns around and says,
All right,
"We need someone to get him drunk." He goes back into. You hear someone just go, "Is he gonna smell better drunk?" You hear the gnome go, "I don't know. Could be nice to try."
Fisher, don't let me get drunk.
I
Meanwhile,
want to say no, my man.
Meanwhile, on the third floor, Raimi just looks to Tobiyashi and audience and says in a gruff man's voice, "Something smells fishy."
I look over the edge to try to see if I see a moss man.
Yeah, I could probably do
I will
that.
also look.
That's the Moss Man to you.
Well, yeah, it doesn't take too long. You see a lot of people moving away from someone, and as your eyes focus more, you see that this person is followed by something metallic and with a bit of stone also. Well, no, actually, with your armor, it's mostly metallic now.
Audience will shout down to them, "Hey, Fisher, Moss Man, up here. we gotta talk to you about something."
Speaking of the rest of our party,
You make your...
wait, why'd that gnome just scrape something off of him? Wait,
I don't ask what gnomes do.
I'm hoping.
I-
yeah, but that
asked
other
if I
gnome
would
just took
have
my
it.
piss.
Gnomes, let the gnomes do what the gnomes do. Don't question the gnomes.
But it's my pee.
Well,
Do you need it
it's
for
your fault
something?
for putting it in a place that they can collect it.
You shouldn't have let it come out of
Remember
you.
this
That is true.
Remember this lesson, Raimi. If you want to keep something, you better hold on to it. Otherwise, anyone could take it.
Wise
Okay,
words.
alright.
Wise words.
Fine, then I won't pee in the tavern next time.
Alright, so it takes a moment.
So we wait for them.
Yeah, it just takes a few minutes. As everyone is coming up the stairs, when you arrive on the second floor, Jorg, you find yourself in front of Corinth, the turtle, who just looks at you and go, "Smells familiar. Cousin?" Oh no, it's you.
What's familiar about the smell?
It's my cousin.
Why does he smell like that?
He spent a little bit too much time underwater. Moss has started growing on his shell, so.
Does he have a preferred perfume or
It happens.
cologne?
It happens to all teenagers and among turtle.
Ah,
If you stay
I see.
put too long, it'll grow on your back.
I guess I stayed put too long, huh?
I didn't know human could do that.
Yeah, sure was a human that did it.
Well, carry on, and don't worry. If you wash, it'll eventually go away, or it'll grow longer. Both happens.
Ah. Good to know, thanks.
He raises his glass. Again, that thing, that sludgy thing with bulbs in it that just bursts when you try and drink it. Takes a good gulp of it.
See you around. I'll try not to look at his mug.
As you're walking up, you hear him go. So you find yourself on the 3rd floor with all of your friends reunited. The smell is new, a bit odd, a bit of a mix between field flowers, skunk, and now there's a heavy scent of water as the moss hasn't finished drying up.
Thanks for the soap, Raimi. I'll hand him the soap bag.
Remy just blinks at Jorg, taking in all of these cumulative smells that have followed his body.
Yeah. It's gonna take some getting used to.
Audience is like, well, we found some quests. We're deciding between a few different options that we want you guys to look at. And I will basically show them the different options that we were looking at and ask what they think we should do.
All right. So, were you paying attention when I was talking to them, or do you want me to repeat?
I was paying
Mildly.
attention. Yeah.
Something about an elf lady, something about a
Elemental.
and something about we didn't finish the job with the water elementals
Well, yeah, no. There's the
and the bird.
there's the Twin Lakes, but the audience is dissuaded Tobiyashi from pursuing that particular quest. If you go completely south of the island chain, there is a unidentified monster hunting in the woods near Tolteron.
That sounds intriguing. But that's a long ways away.
Yeah, but fortunately there's a portal at Tolteron, so you could be in the forest within a day, starting to look for that monster. However, right after that, there is a quest of most likely earth elementals bothering foragers on a small village that is 3 days away from Tolteron. So you're looking at a minimum of 6 days. 3 day going there, 3 day coming back, and probably a 7th day hunting if everything goes well. An entire week for that quest. And hunting in the wood, well, that's always up in the air. Otherwise, there is a quest near the town of Siptane. There is a small coastal village that mostly relies on fishing for feeding in the inhabitant of the village. That have reported a extremely early, harsh winter, unnaturally early, harsh winter setting in. There is already someone there, a female named Connie, who has asked for help, as monsters have started appearing in the waters, and she feels it's a bit above her abilities right now.
I like that one.
Yeah. If you decide to start at Nathair, which is the largest of all the city on the island chain, the one that there is the royal family in. It's roughly the same time to get from there to Septane, but if you take a half-a-day detour, there's a quest that Remy seems to be slightly interested in, of a flying creature attacking livestock on a small village that is near the mountains.
That hits close to home for me.
Didn't specifically have this part written down, but when the goblin was talking to me at some point, he mentioned something about the Predator having a refueling station of sorts off the map. I vaguely remember him saying it was north off the map. Is that accurate?
Northwest. Everything else is accurate, yes.
Then. Yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
Which one?
Set up north.
The flying one?
Well, we can do both, can't we?
Okay, no, but okay. Which one exactly are you voting for? Fisher? You can't just say that one. I need you to be more specific.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think he's voting for the one that would ultimately bring us to the one with Connie, but taking the half-a-day detour to deal with the flying creature.
Yes.
Yes,
I like
as
that.
Nathair is also the one of the 3 port city, so you would also might be able to gather information about boats there.
Okay. I'm happy to do that one. We're headed north. That might be where the Silver-tongued Bard is. We're gonna go help Connie at the end of it. I'm okay. I'll vote for that one. The only person that wasn't as in favor was Tobiyashi. So I have to hear his perspective. Because he wanted to go south, I think.
Here's a question.
I mean,
sorry.
You good?
I was busy getting dragged through something. But what was that prophecy you guys were talking about?
Yes, there's a prophecy about the hunter god that states.
He looks over into his notes.
I don't know. Someone wrote down the prophecy, I think.
Beautiful.
I thought I wrote down the prophecy.
Well, I hope you did. I posted it on our on your Discord.
Did anyone write down the prophecy? They...
Toby is like, I didn't have a book at the time, so I no quill. I didn't have ink. I couldn't write down the prophecy.
There it is.
Remy? I'll look to Remy. Remy, did you write down the prophecy?
It's coming to me.
Okay, guys. I will read as Remy will open his beak, and exactly in the voice that was heard,
Which is really
the
odd
hunter
hearing
has
this.
awakened. 3 trophies will it seek. Essence from the shadow of a god. The will of an unbreakable mind. A feather hidden within a dream. Only then can the blood of the sacrifice be accepted.
See, we even have to get a feather. So, I mean, I think we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's that simple.
And it was really weird hearing that voice from Remy because it's so far from anything he has ever copied. Really thunderous and cavernous at the same time. Strong and powerful.
And then just casually closes his beak.
It's like
See, Remy can learn other stuff.
it's like Stitch in
It's Stitch.
yeah, I don't know why I couldn't like with Lilo and Stitch when he puts his finger on a
Record.
player.
yeah. Don't know why I only had the name in French. It's basically exactly the same thing. You open his mouth and you hear exactly what's on the record. Close his mouth. End of story. Alright. So, you accept both of these quests.
Sounds good to me.
And then the board is like, like it starts off yellow, but then the board is like, oh, wait a minute, Tobiyashi joined. Then adjusts and it turns red.
It turns red. And it's like, ah, man.
He's bringing the party down.
Jeez.
Sorry, that was a mean joke. I did not.
Got him.
Well, listen, if it's accounting for his 2 levels in one class and his 2 levels in the other class instead of his levels combined, then I can...
Stop making fun of me.
So basically what you see is that you see Tobiyashi tapping on the window, and without Tobiyashi noticing, Remy used minor illusion to put a red filter right in front of Tobiyashi. So it feels like every quest has gone either red or orange. And
Not that one, not that one.
he just
Toby,
waits
isn't that one kill a single kobold?
I don't know what's going on today. It's not my day.
And you turn around, you see Remy laughing so hard he's nearly peeing. You see a gnome
Gosh, I
arriving.
get the last yellow one we saw was the other one. So let's go and help that Connie lady out.
All right. So we have a plan. So I assume we'll probably take the portal over to Othanel tomorrow.
Well, actually,
Since
it
it's-
would be the portal to... it depends on the order you want to do
I
it.
thought it was. I don't know. Is there a closer portal?
It's roughly the same thing. With Fisher helming a cart, you'd be able to travel for a full day. And that would put you almost all the way on each side because you'd be using the commercial roads. Slightly more dangerous. There's a chance that you'd be attacked by bandits and things like that, but it's much faster and you can get there almost in a single day. So that would take you to Septane. And from there, it's a day to get to the small village. But what I was about to say is that you can easily go from Othanel, Septane, the quest on the village, and then go back to Septane, take the commercial road, go to Remy's quest, and finish in Nathaire. It's basically a mirror. You can decide which side you want to start with. In the end, it's going to take the same time.
Should we maybe help the person that's asking for help first instead of just being like, they probably got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
might be a good idea.
That would
they
be a
might
good
be in
idea.
trouble.
Yeah. Last time we said, they probably got it, someone died. So
Don't want to lose another female. I mean, another
Yeah.
colleague.
Yeah.
Another
Rest in
female.
peace. Alright.
Like, look, the adventure of life is already a sausage fest.
You just see audience hit his chest and put peace signs in the air. Rest in peace.
Yeah. All right. So I guess then we will teleport to Othano tomorrow.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you have a few hours. Fisher, there's still something that you need to do, but
Yeah.
for everyone else, well, it depends if they all want to watch as you're being torn apart and reassembled.
Yeah,
But
I want to watch.
You guys want to see something cool?
What is it?
I'm always interested.
Oh, I gotta go get rebuilt.
I want to see what you're made of.
Wait, so are we gonna see you naked?
it's basically
Depends
a
on your
I've seen enough
definition
of
of
that today.
naked.
it's basically a
worn
different
clothes.
version of what you and audience went through, but it's gonna be similar.
Why not?
All right. Yes.
Raimi, realizing that several things have happened all at once and will not have nearly enough time to do some things, is going to adjust his planning accordingly, and just disappear.
All right.
Turn around to
Audience.
ask who wants to be there, and you notice that Remy's missing again.
Audience will be like, I guess I'll come watch. It sounds a little uncomfortable, but you know,
No idea.
maybe they'll let me like sneak something inside of you. We'll see.
I also just remembered I need to go get my diamond cut and probably buy a couple more for.
Well, judging at the time that it is right now,
I'll do
it's
that
more and
tomorrow.
more likely that the shops are closed. So
Yeah, I'll do that right before we leave tomorrow, and I'll do it on my own time, so we don't have to just sit through me going to the store buying some diamonds if you don't want.
Fisher, how do you feel about as you're being real built, a part of your body being turned into a bank that can be reopened later?
Ooh, a time capsule.
No.
No.
you press on his belly button, and there's change that come
It's
out of
a
his
hard
hands.
pass.
Oh, here's a cool idea. We'll put one of the diamonds in you, and then if you die, I can dig it out and resurrect you.
Why do you guys want to put stuff in him?
Hold on, hear me out.
Because
That's a
that-
good
You
question,
see
Toby.
this? You see this box? This box represents a bond. The bond shared between everyone in our party, a mutual bond, if you will. And so we will put value into this mutual bond, and
Wait.
and over
Does this bond
time
have
it will accrue value.
Okay. Fisher, hear me out though. Also, haven't you always wanted to have a self-destruct feature? We have one
No.
bomb remaining.
God damn it.
No, I haven't.
Oh, shit.
Why would I want a self-destruct feature?
Think about it. You're in your final stand. It's a heroic. The enemies are coming upon you. They think they have you beat, and you say you're all coming with me to hell. And you can press some cool button, and then you blow them all up. Wouldn't that be awesome?
The jury's still out on if I'd go to hell.
Okay, but I mean, it's not where you would go; it's where they'd go. But like, you could just take them all out with you.
You could also say for the dragon.
Yeah, you could. That would be cool too.
I won't, but I mean, I guess I'd rather have, something that would get me out of there.
Oh, look at.
But not. I'm going to go ahead and say that there's not enough space inside of me for something that wasn't originally supposed to be
You
there.
could put your orb inside of you, and then you'd always have a getaway. That's what you just said, right?
Yeah, no, but you need to do the things in the orb. I can't do it if it's in my chest somewhere.
But if they built little robotic arms inside you to like press the orb,
All right, we should start heading over there.
Oh,
Wanna
I thought
eat
you
your
were all
orb and then
walking
try and
while you
control it
were
with
trying
your
to convince
stomach?
him.
yeah,
Oh, we're walking. Okay.
yeah. This is a conversation as we're walking over.
I originally wanted you guys to join, one, because, you know, it might be interesting. Two, because ever since I drank that potion, I have this uneasy feeling like something bad's about to happen, and I would be more comfortable if y'all were there to stop that something bad. But now I'm starting to think that something bad is that y'all are going to fuck up whatever I'm about to do.
Yeah, I never said I wanted to put anything in you. I'll come along.
Thank you.
Promise
Casey.
not to put anything.
Audience slowly puts his coin purse away.
I think
Thank you,
consent is the key to anything.
I was asking for consent. This guy's just being late.
Yes, well, you were not given it.
I wasn't
So
gonna
stop
do
asking.
anything.
All right.
Audience
okay,
was volunteering
guys.
consent for Fisher.
Audience, I need your word. You're not going to mess with this.
I give you my word. I will not mess with this.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't.
You hear Terranat
Maybe
go,
he should.
I think you should elaborate on what this is.
No, audience is honest. Audience won't mess
He
with
knows.
this.
If he doesn't,
I think you should swear on the dragon.
I'm in. Kind of assumed. But, it was good enough for me. I trust him. He hasn't yet
alright.
given me a reason to not trust him.
All right. So you
No,
all...
audience can tell this is important to Fisher. He won't mess with it. As much as he would love for Fisher to be a piggy bank.
Pull his finger and cash come out one end. Alright, so you all make your way to the knowledge quarter where Fisher, you've been told that you can just ask for someone in particular and you're going to be taken there. Do you still have the name of that person in your notes?
Yes, I just need to find it. Give me 1 second.
He has
Soulmate.
to watch the last episode real quick.
Yeah, skip through.
Yeah, hold on. I remember this. This. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. So you ask for
Asking
Salman,
around for Cellmane.
and immediately there is a warden who will take you to see him. Just going. Yes, I was warned you would be coming probably today or tomorrow. Follow me. He is already in his laboratory. And you're taken down to the last level of the knowledge quarter. And there, in front of a small door, well, not too small for the group, but still, small door, comparatively speaking. You enter and go down an additional level, and you arrive in a large room. The wall seems to be made out of some sort of marble, but they're as smooth as metal. There's a single chair in the middle of the room. The chair looks to be slightly reclined. And you see an elf there. Very serious. Just looking at you. Ah, yes. I believe you are the one I was waiting for. I do hope that your comrades aren't also here to be remade. Otherwise, I'll have to admit that I am not prepared for organic being like them for the evening.
Wait,
No,
are you
they
saying
were
you could
just
give me a
gonna-
robot? No, keep going.
It's just
Do they need to leave?
joke. They can
were gonna-
they can stay if they want, as long as they can stay. And he looks at audience, relatively silent. Please sit down.
I will. Yeah, sit down.
All right. You sit down. You see him stand up. Slowly walk toward you. You see better his robe. A deep blue and purple mix of color on his robe. Long hair tied behind his head, tied in sort of a loose ponytail, I'd say. Not going up, but going down. Just looks at you and quite an impressive array of culture you have in your body. Let's see now. Since this is the first time I do this on one of your kind in this world, I can't promise it's going to be painless, but I can promise you're going to survive this. Is there any questions that you'd have before we start?
Well, as long as I can. No, we're good.
Would you prefer remaining conscious throughout all of this? I can temporarily.
Would that get in the way?
It depends. Depends on how still you're able to remain while looking at something you have most likely have never seen.
I've been told I'm very good at not moving.
Very well. So you'd like to stay conscious throughout all of this?
I'd kind of like to see how it happens.
Very well. Relax. This could take a little bit of time. Turns around toward Jorg and audience. No eating while I'm doing this. Now, let's start. You see him raise his hand above you, and this is the moment. Nature check? Jorg, is there something you want to say?
I'll do a nature check.
No, I mean, I've just seen
there
you
wasn't
do a
anything I
nature
was gonna
check.
say.
Is there something you want to tell me?
Oh, I did one a while ago.
Okay.
Why did I do one? Wait, did I do one a while ago, or did
You did one a while ago, and you did one under a minute ago.
I just did one now? Because I thought you were asking for a nature check.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, yeah.
This is the first time that you really have a feeling of how advanced people of the garden might actually be. As you see this wizard raise his hand above you, you see a sphere of runes, arcane words, sigil, just appear, basically blossom from the center of fissure and expanding outward. You see all of these symbols floating around, these mostly in round shape, but some of them have more complex shape. You see him grab some, turn them, moving another sigil, and then suddenly it's a feeling that you haven't felt before, Fisher. as if every single hinges in your body, every single place where your body can turn and twist, just feels as if they all come loose. And suddenly you see all of the pieces of your armor plating, your what makes the skin for you, just come apart and start floating right in front of you. We see the root work inside of you also slowly unfold, uncurl, and blow up. Not explosively, just. And we can see the different current of energy still flowing as if there was just one image of your what would be your nervous system, that is all the way that the energy flows inside of you. It's the only thing that remains. Everything else has been moved out of the way in a spheroid shape. And you see him start working on this. You see him take one point and then reform the different sigils, take another point, reconnecting them. Then you see a plate of your armor just slowly starting to move back. You see roots unfolding and then refolding, and you feel the tension inside of those roots. It feels like a little bit of strength, something that you hadn't realized that they could actually do, but you are completely disjointed. He doesn't even seem to find any of this mystifying. For him, the ease at which he does this, he just picks on one, takes another one, change the sigil on this one, rotate the glyph on this one, take what would be essentially a nervous point for you, pull on it, you feel that unpleasantness that he was talking about when he pulls on one of those, and then disconnect one, which is extremely uncomfortable for you, then reconnect another one on it, and oh wow, it's like you hadn't noticed that this part of you was not working well. Sort of like when you get all of these pins and needles in your arms, and suddenly, oh wow, they'd always been there. You'd never thought about this not supposed to be there, but they just start leaving. You start feeling better. It seems like second nature to him. Looking at him, it feels like he's just casting cantrip after cantrip after cantrip, just slowly reweaving the inner working of your nervous system. It takes a good half hour of him pulling on things, replacing them, and then slowly after half an hour, you start seeing your body slowly reassembling itself. The root system curling back slowly around the enchantment keeping you, the energy flowing. And then your legs come back, your arms come back, you start feeling something in your body, and then it just wraps back in, and then you see the stone plates, which act as your skin, just reassembling, and then finally you see your armor just slowly regathering around you, refusing with your body. And then after half an hour, the process ends. You have a little moment of, oh wow, what's that? I feel different. You see the elf just go, well, with everything we have, this is as much as we can do. If you can find other examples of those built like you, possibly from either the same creator or at least the same region as you, might be able to do more, but for now this is as much as I can do. as you get up, you essentially get a free ability score improvement, but it is limited on physical elements.
Dope. No. Yeah, I'll be sure to look out for that. This this is pretty nice. Thanks.
You're all welcome. And he turns around to audience and Jorg, and thank you for not trying to put food inside your friend. Yes, it has happened with gnomes.
That
Who
does
would
not
ever-
surprise me.
Who would ever try and put something inside one of their friends? That's just ridiculous. Couldn't be us. We're far more mature than that.
Make a deception roll. You're talking to a...
Fisher, you just got Treasure Planet. Did.
I don't understand that reference.
18.
19. You just hear the elf go, yes. Of course. Well then, I believe you know the way back to the research quarters.
Yeah. Thanks. And then I guess I'll head out.
Yeah, and since we're going on our break, you will have even time to think about where you want to put those bonuses. All right. Well, like I said,
So wait, how different does he look? Does he look bigger? Did he
on,
get more muscles?
no, on the outside, he looks exactly the same, but the inner structure of him has been reworked. Some inefficiencies when he was rebuilt. Because one thing that you can easily see with Fisher is that he's a mismatch of different kind of artistic style. You can see a bit of dwarven in the way that he's made, a bit of elven, a bit of human, gnome. One of his leg looks typically gnomish. One of his shoulder feels like traditional dwarven. It shows that he's been reassembled several times over the years.
It's like when you buy a couple different Bionicle sets and then just pick and choose.
And basically what happened was that some of the parts didn't completely match up. You know, like buying a PC. And what has happened is that essentially this elf has made sure that all of the programming inside works properly and all of the pieces inside can work at their highest efficiency.
So he got a new CPU.
I got a software patch.
yeah. You got an AMD graphics card this time.
You went to the next generation of OS.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'll get the patch notes from him later.
All right. So, like I said, we're going to be back in 15 minutes. Wow, this is our latest break ever. So, that's rather easy to go for. All right. See you back in 15 minutes.
See ya.
Aha, welcome back. Don't worry, audience will be there. He hasn't sent us a message saying that he died, so... I know,
Ironically, it would be actually creepier if he died and then sent the message, because that would raise a lot of questions.
Well, actually, no, it answers a few. It answers about what happens when you die. So, guys, I died. I'm sorry. Yeah, we don't care about that. What's beyond?
Oh, it turns out that the Rastafarians were right. Everyone else was wrong.
Now, wouldn't that be something special? We learned that the afterlife is actually something that an obscure culture somewhere in the world said, and everyone else is wrong. Oh, really? That's disappointing.
We were talking about the rise and fall of the Black Eyed Peas while we were gone.
Among other things. All right. All right. Let's get rid of the thunderstorm. All right. So, well, I hope audience is not going to take too long to come back.
I'm not.
Aha! So, as I was just about to say, I was looking at if the camera was still working or not. So, I've said 3 times now. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it a 4th time. After this impressive display, you all gather up around Fisher. You mostly look at him. Is there something different? Don't really see anything different, but judging with everything that just happened, there's probably something different. But like I said, the most striking thing is Fisher is supposed to be something extremely complex and difficult to make that is so hard to make voluntarily. But that elf seemed to work with the inside of Fisher with the same ease as a wizard has casting cantrips. So
What I'm hearing is they have experienced fingers.
Among other things. Alright, I don't know why. Whenever something happens with the camera, it's all weird after that. Ah! Okay. Probably just a bandwidth thing. So, Jorg, audience, Tobiasian Fisher, you find yourself outside of this wizard's laboratory, going up the stairs, going back to the research quarter. Is there anything you'd like to say before I jump to Remy?
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So wait, Fisher. You think you could do that to us?
That would.
Do you want me to try?
I mean, I would really like some robot legs.
Oh, I just want to see what's inside people.
Maybe
I
next
feel
time.
like
Why-
you two can help each other out with that.
I'm sure audience and Tobiashi has suggestions on those.
Sorry, I'm just making a mental note over here about members of the party that might be serial killers. Jorg.
I mean, we're all technically serial killers. We've killed a few people.
Oh, hold on. I need to add a specific adjective. Sociopathic serial killer.
All right. Oh, okay. All right. No, that was just a joke. I don't want robot legs. But I mean, in the future, if there's a chance, we'll talk about it.
I mean, if you want, but I mean, sure, I'm strong, but you're just a bit faster than I am, so I feel like your legs are possibly the better ones.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey George, so I saw that like guy. I saw that gnome. He was like stabbing you or something.
So don't tell the gnomes I told you this, or they'll do something weird. But I drank a potion. It turned me green, and then I guess he wants samples of it, and I'm hoping that the samples will help with all of this.
I wonder if it's the same gnome that took my pee.
Why did a gnome take your pee?
It's a long story. I'll explain it later.
All right.
He lied as this story could be told in 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Fisher from
Just
inside
because.
Fisher from inside of you hear, nah, the story wasn't that long.
Well, I guess gnomes just like samples of everything, huh?
I guess so.
Y'all know you can say no, right?
It was hard to say no. He was a very enticing gnome.
Did he take it out of you?
Now he took it from a soil that I peed in.
Ah, okay. Then that would be harder to say no to.
Yeah, it was already coming out of me, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
That's good. I was worried for a second.
You guys are weird.
So, to any future viewers we might have, if you want to take any of this out of context, you have my permission.
On to the research facility.
That's where we are.
What
What are you looking to do?
No, never mind. On to the next place.
Let's buy some diamonds so we don't die.
Store's closed, Jorg.
Oh yeah, let's do this.
Time to go to bed.
Good Lord.
Usually y'all don't start shutting down this fast when it gets late, but
It's been a long
seems
day.
like y'all need to go to sleep.
Well, research and development is probably still very much open.
You can sleep here.
Among
Let's
the
not
books.
sleep here.
I'm going to my room.
Yeah, me too.
Right. Meanwhile,
I
Remy.
need to meditate on this.
Yeah, before there was the dread of life, and now there's the oddity of life. So, Remy, what are you doing while this is going on?
Raimi realizing he doesn't have a whole lot of time to achieve this. It's like he has also gone to the knowledge quarter, but he is going to immediately cash in on that free research
Okay.
for something that keeps coming up, and would just prefer to always have it in case it's needed.
Okay.
So he's going to be spending the next 6 hours scribing water breathing into his ritual book.
Very well. Yes. Oh, Chaotic Calling just arrived. A bit late today, but hey, it's always fun having you with us.
Must have had a long one.
Yeah, that happened to us last week, so I understand very easily. All right. So, you go up, and as you go up the stairs, back into the research quarter, you do see Remy at one table, already deep in books, doing his best to learn, and don't know exactly what he's researching, but he looks deep in thoughts. But just as you see this, Audience, your sphere resonates.
I will answer.
You take the orb and you open it up, and you see Ilithane.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So Ilithane just takes a moment and yes, audience. If you and your party would be so kind as to join us in the command quarter. I believe there is a debriefing that you all 5 should be there.
Is it happening right now?
Well, most of the people are here. We can see that you are in the research quarter right now. We know that it's going to take the 3/4 of an hour to get here. But since we are in the garden, if you would like, we can organize a location-to-location transport.
No, I mean, if everyone's almost there, it's up to you. Depends how quickly you want to start this meeting. I'm fine. We're fine walking. You don't need to if it's going to be too much effort. But if you're also trying to start the meeting as quickly as possible, I'm fine having that set up.
That is okay. We can wait. Everyone here is patient enough.
I'll let the party know.
You will be expected at the door. They will let you in, and they will take you to the command deck.
Alright. I'll see you soon. Alright, I will turn to... So is Remy... Do I know where Remy is, or no?
Well, you see him. He's at the table, maybe 15 feet away.
Okay. Then I'll be like, Remy, come on over. This is important. Ilithane just called us. He wants us over in the command center for a debriefing as quickly as we can get there.
Raimi looks at audience, looks down at the book, looks back at audience, looks back at the book.
You hear a warden say, "Don't worry, your books are going to be here when it is over. I'll make sure of it."
Yeah. With a sigh, Raimi just turns over in his chair, hops off.
with the thought of, "Oh, I'm going to be pulling an all-nighter again." Huh? Okay.
That's a mood. Alright.
So,
But he
audience,
does
how
start calling
quick
you.
is this? How brief is this D'ing that we need to go to?
I don't know. It's Ilithane, though. When Ilithane calls, you go to it.
Tobiashi,
Okay,
you do
all right.
remember with the introduction that Ilithane is the warden who is in charge of the garden. He's the one in charge of the entire
right, okay.
expedition.
All right, I'll listen to audience. I trust him.
All right, so you all start moving, reluctantly for one of you, but you all start moving toward the command core. It is something that you don't have, that you're not previewed to very often. You arrive in front of the command quarter. There is a warden there. Actually, there's a sentinel there. Sentinel being the larger version of the wardens. He lets you in, opens the door and lets you in, and he starts walking behind you, guiding you to where the command quarter is. You go past the vault where you all took your object. You see the room just down that hallway, but you keep going, and you go up quite a lot, a few levels at least. You'd say 4 or 5 levels, and then eventually you arrive at another corridor, and at the end of it, there's a single door. The sentinel just tells you Elithane is beyond the door over there. Don't worry, the door will open as you arrive. And he lets you go toward the door. The door, just like your own quarters, just seem to recede into the wall, slightly disappearing as you enter, and closes back once you're inside. This is the first time you've been into this room. You see in front of you an array of desks, and just like the quest board, these pane of glasses that have been placed above these desks. You see these desks. Sorry, you see wardens in front of these desks. However, you do see one that you've never seen her entire body. You recognize behind one of the desks the head of Syrah and the body that's under it. You are quite literally in the command deck of the garden. And as your gaze turn around and look at the end of the room, you see a large table. You see Elithane, Ugalit, you see Theag, and you see also sitting at the table, you see Sarn, Amiali, Kor, Darkahin, and Temptress. You see Elithane just gesture for you to come. Please come. Sit down.
As I walk over, I'm going to lean over to Fisher and kind of lean and be like, honestly, I wasn't sure whether Syrah was an AI or not. It's good to see she's actually real.
She looks roughly the same model as Carthane. The one that handed you the crystals when you had to analyze things from another realm. You also know that this is the one that took care of creating the portal system that allows you to go to the different city. So you notice that she is the same model as him. And essentially, when you look at her, it feels like, wow, if it weren't for the voice, you'd think they're, I don't know, twins. Except Syrah has a feminine voice, but Carthane has a male voice.
I'll lean back and just whisper, I wonder how often she leaves the chair.
Yeah. Good question.
I lean over, I'm like, she had a body? I thought she was just a head.
Well, guys, to the audience, I guess you all can go ahead and throw away your fanfics where Syrah is Zordon with boobs and we are the 5 teenagers with attitude.
Or keep them. That's up to you.
You know, some people
Maybe send the link.
Some people like imagining a female knight with no boobs on her armor.
Alright. I guess I'll make my way over to the table.
Alright, he waits
Are there chairs for us?
Yes. There's enough chair for everyone.
Alright, I'll go sit down.
No, not for you, Toby. Only you. You have to sit on the floor.
Dang.
Randy makes
They
absolutely
weren't
sure that
expecting
he
me,
steals
huh?
a chair next to audience.
Jorg is
Now,
going
is
to put
this a
his
round
dog
table?
in the chair next to him.
What kind of table is this?
It's a round table. Oh. It is a round table, but it looks in... The material of this place looks fairly similar to that of the Elven Laboratory. And you do have for a moment the impression of, maybe that's the original state of the garden. They did say that it had been repurposed 3 times in its history. This marble-like metal everywhere. Once you're all seated, anything takes start talking. Now then, we have called all of you here because, well, for our friends on this side of the table, and he points toward the other group, Sarn being the only one who wasn't there when you got rescued in the mountain. They are the most powerful and prominent member of the garden. The adventurers, at least. For this reason, they have seen the most and know everything that you all know of or have learned. And they should be kept informed of everything else that has been happening. They've all had their own quests looking into some things. And as for you, Jorg, audience, Remy, Fisher, and Tobiyashi is a new member, you've all seen something very different than the rest of the adventurers inside of the mountain range. Maybe you'd care to describe everything you've seen.
Everything?
Well, the more detail there is, the more informed everyone will be.
Well, if you want detail, I'm gonna look at Remy. Remy can do pictures and
I was about to say, just like Remy just has like some fingers ready for visual aids.
Yeah, I'm like, Remy, do you wanna tell them about or show them some of the things we saw?
And Remy starts doing shadow puppets. No.
I was about to say, like, you were about to say tell. It's just like, oh, funny about that.
Show. Did show.
Remy can do the slideshow, but it's better if someone else talks.
Yeah.
Where do you want us to start?
Well, where things get slightly stranger. And we'll get to what you saw, Fisher, as it has of some importance also. I would say most likely somewhere when you got to the monastery, I believe is when the weirder elements of this starts.
Very well.
Well, then Remy just immediately minor illusions the still shot of Jorg being whisked away by the shadows. That's about where the weird thing started at the monastery.
Yeah.
Audience will be like, yes, to give some clarification to that image. On our way up, this after our initial fight with them when Katrin died, or unfortunately died, we basically were headed up towards the monastery when what's her name appeared.
The hot monk lady.
Yes, I don't want to say the hot monk lady.
Aifa?
Yes, thank you. Aifa appeared and basically told us you can't be out at night. This is when the shadow wolves, or we saw shadows starting to form, and we saw that there were wolves inside the shadows. Basically, in a mad dash, we were able to make it up to the monastery. Unfortunately, Jorg got captured and was whisked away, which is, I assume, how they captured many of the villagers for sacrifice. After our rescue mission, in which we both rescued Jorg and Tobiyashi, we had to fight off a few of the hunter priests for a few nights. in those nights, we saw weaponry such as, again, the Shadow Wolves, as well as they seem to have some type of flying bird and a targeted lightning attack that they could rain from the sky. They also seem to be, in the initial attacks, trying to mark us with their get some of our blood, which then it seemed allowed them to be able to attack us without basically being able to see us.
Amiali adds a detail with this. Yes, we've encountered quite a few of them who claims that once they have injured us, they can follow us through smell. I'd say them being part of a hunter cult would probably qualify this as being true. Sorry.
It also seems like they are more keen on the hunt than they are the kill. Because when all the defenses broke down at the monastery, they didn't kill anybody. They just ran around marking everybody. Assuming that's to keep track of them make it easier to grab them ahead of a sacrifice instead of just killing them for no reason.
Sarn adds to this. Then in that case, it does confirm that there were once a druidic cult. Druids are often called to use unconventional tactic. We are often alone on the field. Marking people, making sure that we learn more, and the strategy that you said they used, most likely a combination of polymorphed creature with a druid on top of them. One maintaining the storm, the other one flying the other druid.
We have run into that sort of thing before. We believe it was on our way here initially. We ran into a pack that some of the wolves turned out to be probably slaves.
Udathane, look at you, audience. Please continue.
Yes. So eventually we were able to figure out a way to find where we believe the ritual was happening in a monastery, which we went through. Their defenses obviously consisted of cultists and some of the barbarians and other mercenaries they seemed to be hiring, as well as stone gargoyles guarding the temple itself. We fought a black pudding upon entering, but I do not know if that was summoned by the priests or was a natural defense for the place itself. We then... Go ahead, Toby.
I whisper in audience ears, and like, you forgot about us blowing up Ranzel.
Yes, I believe we were able to destroy one of their lieutenants who Toby had said had been someone on the island he was on who had been known for torturing and was individuals and prisoners and was just not a good dude overall. We also came across one of their other lieutenants. What was his name, Toby? Again?
Ranzel. Oh wait, no, the second one, the mage.
No, the guy who was watching. There's also.
Oh, yes. His name was Ernak, I believe.
Ernak.
Yes.
I guess we ran into two of their lieutenants. Ernak, who seemed to be one of the people who could summon shadow wolves and seemed to have this almost be more of a tactician, someone who watched and gained information, and then someone we never ran into, at least not that I know of, but heard of, who was a mage who was helping perform the ritual, which was Solanus. So we came across we have a few names of potential leaders among the hunter cult. that was when we reached the main room of the temple. And that was when the avatar of the hunter god was summoned, although the ritual was incomplete, he stated, when he was summoned, so he was not at full power. He appeared in the form of basically a giant wolf that could disappear into shadows, who we were able to defeat. But as we basically were close to harming it or killing it, he basically ran away in a form of shadow, which is where we thought was the end of it. However, later, in fact, after we had ran into, I'll point to Amiali, your party again, and left you guys to go meet with the other party, we ran into a priest with the words, and I'll basically try and do my best description of what we saw upon its chest, but basically, I can't give it because it's not an actual thing. And
Raimi.
yeah, if Raimi can help me out.
Visual aid.
Yeah, you're forced to try and do this. Oh boy. I will.
Oh wait, this might require a check.
Reproducing this is extremely hard, as there is a large portion of this that is magical. That's why you can't put a finger on it.
Oh, is this the weird symbol?
Yeah.
Again?
I'd say make a... I'll go with intelligence. That goes with memory and trying to do your best. Make an intelligence roll as you're trying to make an illusion that fits that.
Flat intelligence or Arcana or History?
It's not long enough to be history. Arcana? No, it's really just to make a picture that at least resemble what you saw, because the characteristic of that is that whenever it starts setting in your mind that it feels like it's something, it just shifts again, and your mind can't follow up. It just can't give a name, even in thoughts, to what this is, to what the shape of it is. So it's really hard to actually make an illusion of that.
I won't say no to that. 16.
16. You make something that feels a bit like that to the best of your ability, but you also know as you're watching this that it's far from being really exact. It doesn't have the same gut-reaching feeling that disturbs the very core of your soul as you're trying to watch this. It's just the visual element of it.
I'll say, I guess, because we'll remember, I'll be like a symbol similar to that, but with a far more sinister, gut-wrenching feel. When you're like, there's definitely another quality to it that Remy can't quite show just using visuals.
I also like to maybe imagine like maybe there's just like a part of his brain that doesn't want to replicate it all the way, even if it could.
Probably. It's lacking a few pixels.
I'll say, in which case we were able to defeat this creature again, as it basically became a monstrosity as we fought it.
That picture Remy can do.
Yes.
Rainy winces as he makes this one because he remembers the part that comes after.
Monstrosity as we fought it. And the one other piece of information we got is while we were still within the monastery, Naifa basically got possessed by a god. I believe to be... Because we saw the raccoons, or was it just Remy who saw the raccoon symbol? Did we all see the raccoon symbol, or did just Remy
Only
see the
Remy
raccoon symbol?
had enough high enough passive perception to see it.
Okay, so I'll just say possessed by a god. I don't know of what origin. Remy, you can choose whether to try and give your at its point or not. But I don't know of what origin that basically stated that the hunter has awakened. 3 trophies will it seek. Essence formed the shadow of a god, the will of an unbreakable mind, a feather hidden within a dream. Only then can the blood of the sacrifice be accepted, which so far we have no additional information on besides the prophecy itself. Or riddle.
If I may say something,
Yes, of course.
I also have information on the 3 other higher ups of their rankings that we did not get to come in contact with while we were there.
That would also be useful.
We have Kaznar. He is a priest of the hunter god. He's higher ranking of the cult, but he, while I was in the captivity of them, he's really well known for having a lot of raw power, and he doesn't like to commit to anything unless he has many contingencies and plans in order. There's also Nanaris. She's like a roguish type human. She was in charge of my torture and the torture of others while we were in this cult captured by the cult. The last one that I have is Solana, and he was in charge of the operation in the mountain. He was the one looking to let the hunter god out by using the diamond rituals. And as of that, that's all the stuff that I know so far.
All right. Remy, you're the only one who saw the raccoon mask, but you've seen effigies of this god before, and you can replicate pictures. So of course, you could replicate the moment where you saw the mask forming.
And
just saying, if you want to try this, you have tools.
Like specifically, just because he's trying to be helpful to audience in his description, when prompted, he would make the best image that he could.
All right, so I'd allow Fisher, Jorg, audience, and Tobiashi to make a perception roll to see the mask forming in the shadows of the light.
Guidance, Jorg.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to
I
roll.
wouldn't think to cast guidance.
You're a druid. Guidance should be.
It's one
like,
of your
you should be
spells.
yelling on your trigger.
Wouldn't think to
Okay.
cast it. Why do you have
in
it?
general. Wait, so we're investigating this? We're not just like idly looking at the.
It's a perception.
Well,
we're trying to see.
Okay, so we're trying to see something. Okay, I'll cast guidance on.
Remy is showing what he saw, but he can't say
on
what he
myself
saw.
and
So we
Fisher.
need to figure out what it is he saw.
I'm out, by the way. I rolled a nat one. Don't even
Oh.
I'm explaining to the higher ups. I'm not even looking.
I got a
rolled
14.
I did too.
I rolled a 18. I wasn't able to roll on the app because my internet's bad, so I just
That's
rolled.
Okay, well, in that case, Fisher, that's with the bonus of.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's 11 without Terran's help.
Well, in that case, Tobiyashi, you'd be the only one that also catches this. And as he does that picture, you do also see this form of
What did I say?
mask that forms when her eyes starts to glow and there's a huge flash of light. You do see the shadow around the flash of light around her eyes just deepen and create this raccoon-like mask around her eyes.
Okay. Hmm. I'll think on that.
All right.
Rami just proudly
I don't-
trying his best to make this beautiful image that he remembers, and everyone just stares blankly at it.
Sorry, Rami. I can't tell what that is.
It's just too bright. It's just flash of light. All right. You do see, however, Ilithane, Ogulit, and Theag react slightly to this image. Remy, you have the impression that your party is completely oblivious to it. Probably some of the other people that were brought in saw this, but you have a feeling that the 3 members of the garden, Theag, Ogulith, and Ilithane, are reacting to that picture that you gave, but they're not adding anything. Just all look at one another.
Just so I could be sure, this is who has the raccoon mask?
Neifa, at the end of the prophecy that you received, her eyes started to glow extremely bright and a nearly blinding light. But as this light came at its most powerful, shadow seems to gather around her eyes and also a bit going back, giving her a sort of raccoon mask around her eyes.
Hmm.
That is the
Kobayashi.
symbol of a god, and we don't know what it is because Rami saw it, but we can't see what he saw.
Yeah.
All right.
This isn't like Emperor's New Groove where you can just like stop the image, grab a red marker, and start drawing circles.
All right. So you see them all look at each other. Very well. And Fisher, I believe you have an element of story that the others don't. If the trauma is not too much, maybe you could share what you saw while you were traveling between realms.
Yeah. Well, I guess I assume I kind of saw what we were up against in its actual form, possibly. But yes, while I was traveling, from the moment I started, I was being chased by a part of some immense being that obviously not well intentioned,
And yeah, if it weren't for Thag's work, I probably would have gotten consumed by whatever it was. But something's out there between the shards, and it's he's trying to get in. It
Thayag.
is very attentive to everything that's happening.
Thayag adds to this and said, well, sometime between realms, or in the realms that exists as bridge, an echo of everything that happens in one realm can manifest itself. I believe you've all at least heard of finding yourself in another realm, one that is very similar but quite different. Like suddenly finding yourself thrusted into a negative realm and seeing everything around you go from normal to dilapidated. Sorry, you know what word I'm trying to use.
It's dilapidated.
Decaying, old, abandoned. I believe this was something very similar, an echo, if you will, of the beast that was trying to come through. So you're most likely right. But just like everything else, that was just an echo, a small part of it. The actual creature is most likely much greater than that in every aspect.
That's not great.
Well, it does confirm that a god or godlike creature is trying to manifest itself in your world. It is going to be important that you take care of this in whichever way feels the best for your world. Of course, you can always rely on our resources, but as always, I'll have to remind you that our resources are limited. Illithane follows. Yes, our resources. As much as we'd like to help you more, especially if a god is behind this, we are unfortunately bound by many restrictions. Being here had a cost, one which we have to respect. One if we do not respect, and he looks at audience when he's saying this, could have dire consequences for your world. So do your best. We will be here to help you in whatever way we can, or are allowed to. Maybe because you have a passive perception higher than everyone else. In the background, you hear Sira at one point, toward the end. You hear her go, "Yes, this is Sira." "Ah, yes! Tesul. And how goes your quest?" "Yes, I see." If you want, you can make a perception roll to try and hear Tesul's side of the conversation.
Eavesdropping, eavesdropping, part of every rogue's balanced breakfast. I mean, okay. I guess that's
65.
20, so 29.
All right. Well,
74.
with such a good roll and a natural 20 on top of that, you have this moment of clarity where you can phase out what is being said outside and completely concentrate on what Sira is saying and also Tasul. You hear Tasul answer, "Why, yes, my investigation has led me far to the west, a bit northbound. It is an interesting place. I do not know if I can get inside quite easily." You hear Sira answer, "Well, take care of yourself. I do believe you are heading into the ocean. Make sure that you have enough strength to reach your destination and come back." You hear Tasul answer, "Yes. Well, my first investigation will be to confirm the existence of this place. After that, I believe a party would be more suited to go investigating. Most likely someone who our informant would like to have accompany him back there. I know that they have stated they did not wish to come back here, but it might be unavoidable." You hear Sira just go, "Well, take care of yourself. Make sure you have enough strength. Flying all this way in the middle of the ocean with your own wings would be quite taxing, and we do not know what lies behind this barrier." Alright. Keep us informed. Then she closes the conversation. Back to Tobiyashi audience, Jorg and Fisher, who do not have a passive perception higher than 18, so they weren't able to understand any of this. You come back as Kor is saying, "Well, whatever the case is, hunting a god always seems like an interesting endeavor. I eagerly wait the moment where I'll be able to face this creature head on. In case it's not me, however, I do wish you luck. You do seem," and he looks at all of you, Jorg, audience, Tobiyashi, Remy, and Fisher, "you do seem to have a knack for getting yourself into trouble." He looks at Fisher, "Sometime more than you can handle." Well, whatever the case, make sure that if you have a moment, a chance, let me have a go at this god.
If we run into it, you'll be the first. You'll be the first eye contact on it. That might be a lie, but
Make him feel good.
Well, you might be the first he contacts after you kill the god. You know, something to brag.
you know.
Like, hey, guess what? We just found a god. You better hurry before... we just killed him. Sorry, buddy.
I
Fisher
probably
actually
wouldn't
got
do
the last
that,
hit,
because Corey would be
so,
like, "I flew all the way here to kill something," and the god said, and then he'd just look at Fisher, and I'd be like, "Sorry, bud."
I mean, we might have another god lined up for you, but
Which one?
oh,
I don't think you said that, actually.
You're talking talking out loud again there, Toby?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was thinking about a lot of
quiet
stuff.
parts out loud again.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that. So, how are we gonna defeat a god without having somewhat of goddish power with us?
I mean, you do have Goddish power with you. You have the power of the dragon.
Oh my gosh, you with the dragon.
Maybe says
Do you
an
think this is
audience's
the time and
voice,
place,
or
audience?
the dragon.
Theag does add to this. Well, having the strength of a god to help you is always very useful. There are a quantity of protection that protects realms such as yours from gods simply entering them. But maybe that prophecy of yours relates to how he is planning on breaking these protections. Whatever the case may be, so long as he does not enter, all you have to worry about is an avatar. And as powerful as an avatar can be, it is a mortal being.
Mhm.
Okay.
Which is why we're putting you in contact with a pyromancer who is hell bent on killing the avatar.
Oh,
Oh gosh. Oh no.
There were so many wordplay in this and reference. It's overwhelming.
Do any of you have any insight to any of the parts of the prophecy?
You have Darkahane, who says, "You said, essence from a shadow of a god, the will of an unbreakable mind, a feather hidden within a dream. Well, since you had the prophecy, I would imagine that a god would be able to see what is on your path. And so these clues will most likely be very much tailored to your own destinies. So I would say pay attention to shadows of gods, people with incredibly strong will, and dreams." Pay
More
attention.
reasons for Fisher to go to sleep.
The
So we're talking
closest
about audience
thing
here,
to
right?
the shadow of a god that we've come across so far, I believe, was Moss. I'm not talking about Jorg.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
Talking about the old and somewhat forgotten god of unsung heroes.
Which
It brings a lot to mind.
coincidentally, you've seen its effigy, Fisher.
He's got a well, last time I talked to you guys about it, they'll kind of shut me down.
You're
But
talking about your friends or
to the A team, as it were.
The High Council.
Yeah. as the first time I saw its likeness was when I first stepped foot in the garden. The raccoon mask.
Fisher, you look around, and ever since you were able to see it, you've seen it everywhere in the garden. You see at least one representation of it in the room you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Placed at roughly knee height near the door.
Mm-hmm. I'll just point over that thing.
Remy and Tobiyashi, you can't help but to see the resemblance to what you saw. It is essentially a raccoon mask.
Audience sees nothing. Knows nothing.
Well, since Fisher is pointing to it, and this is where it sort of hits you, audience, Jorg, and Tobiyashi, probably Remy also, probably Remy the most, who is the most perceptive of all, you have sort of this moment of, where did that come from? You're so attentive to every single detail, but you missed that. But now that you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Of course it's there. And slowly you all start realizing that, oh wow, yeah, no, I remember there's one in the tavern, and then another one of you, there's one in the knowledge quarter. I remember seeing it. For some reason, your mind weren't connecting with it. But now that you've seen it, it's becoming obvious. And probably, like I said, for Remy, the most frustrating of all, realizing that you've been missing that image ever since you've been in the garden. What the heck? That's not natural. You see Illithane. Well, you can't see his face because his hood is up, but you can hear in his voice a little amusement. Oh, yes. Few of you actually sees it. I believe Thayag would be the one most appropriate to talk to about this. Thayag just go, well, the garden was rebuilt after its defeat during the war. It was rebuilt by followers of this god. And over time, other gods had followers following us. But essentially, this place has never renounced the god of unsung hero. And this means you could say that this is a temple of this god.
Yeah, I guess like Raimi looking toward his companions will minor illusion one more thing, and this time it is the silver-tongued bard making a bow. because this is where he saw the image.
Yeah. You see, apparently, the bard that you're looking for. Remy has seen him before, but as he bows, you do notice a small symbol of the raccoon mask on his shoulder, hidden. It's really a stroke of luck that he bowed deep enough for his cloak to go up just enough so that you could see this on his clothes. So you hear Teag add to this. Well, it does seem that there is a god following your steps. If he is the god helping you, then you will most likely encounter several of his followers on your path. The name Unsung Hero is not a reference to you, the adventurers who follows the path he has laid. It is a reference to the priests, to his followers, whose mission is to guide you in becoming those heroes. They are the unsung heroes, those that no one ever hears about. But they always make sure that a hero is present when it is needed. And it appears that this god has chosen, at the very least, one of you to be the needed hero at the appropriate time.
You wouldn't happen to be able to let us know who some of these followers are so that we know them when we see them, would you?
Well, if you ever went back on our world, I would be glad to help you recognize them in our world, but we have no clue about this world. We haven't traveled your world beyond what you have. You are our eyes and ears. This is the first time we hear about this god being present in your world.
Got it.
Usually you
And-
will be able to recognize one thing. They will not do battle for you. They're not here to make it easy. They're here to make sure you survive and become heroes. They will always step away when the real important battles are fought. That is the only clue I can give you.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh. I feel like they'd be more helpful if they stuck around, but
They are not the heroes. They are the unsung heroes. You are the heroes who will be sang.
I never said I wanted to be a hero. Who is here deciding? Why were we picked over anybody else here? I could see audience, maybe Fisher being a hero, but
Well, maybe you aren't. You are traveling in a group. All I can say is at least one of you has been chosen to be a hero. But maybe all of you have. After all, when we got here, the first thing that happened was that objects started to appear in here. And now that we know that this god is part of your world, object reacted to the appearance of a temple of this god. Maybe each and every one of you who has an object is meant to become a hero. Maybe only a few of you. Maybe just one.
Which is why you have all received invites to join our Academia of Heroes.
God damn it.
You have core that's this. Well, hero or not, I'm just here to kill a god.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a lot to think upon, but not the focus at the moment.
What do you mean?
Well, we should be a hero through our actions, not through some prophecy. We will, if it decides we're a hero, but that doesn't just mean that we can sit back and do nothing. We have to continue to do our best in everything we commit to.
But then that means just some of us are pawns to be used by the heroes, if any of us do become heroes.
Perhaps. But even pawns can become a king if they play their cards right. Or a queen, technically, but again, I don't know.
When you said
Just
king,
like,
you saw Amiel, you just go, when you said queen.
I also like the play your cards right. It's a board without any card.
Gravy is just sitting there off to the side, trying to figure out which game audience is referring to now.
Yeah,
Audience has played every game.
it's a special version of Dragon Chess where
We involve cards as well.
yeah.
Very complicated.
You see, when your pawn takes another pawn while you also are holding a royal flush,
Yeah.
It becomes a rook and a bishop. Okay. But
Toby
only on
sits there a
Mondays.
little agitated. I sit there a little agitated just thinking about being used by a god. But he won't say anything about it.
Okay. Well then, unless some of you have more information to share, I feel like this briefing was productive in more ways than one. Yeah, Villatane, just... Yes, and I do believe that many of you need to rest. And one of you looks like it getting a little bit impatient. I believe we took you out of doing something, did we not? He looks at you, Remy.
yeah, just like Gravy this whole time at the back of his head, just trying to remember the last place in his book he was at, so he wouldn't have to start over.
He's been maintaining concentration the whole time. Well, rest well, study well, ponder well. If you feel you have any more questions, we're all always open, as it does appear that you 10 are an important part of this. Of course, you can speak about anything that has been spoken here between all of you. Be mindful of who you might be speaking to among your comrades. Some will most likely be allies, but not everyone has an unbreakable mind.
I stand up. I'll bow. I won't say anything, and then I will look at the rest of the group, and I'll just head out.
All right.
Go to my room.
Tobiashi leaves first.
Ons will give a nod. He'll stand up to leave as well.
Mm-hmm.
All three, Ilitane, Theag, and Algolit bows back.
Thank you for this information. It's been very revealing. And I'll also head out with a bow because they look fancy.
Y'all could make sure to let us know if.
As Jorg leaves the room, probably Remy, you notice Theag just go. She was noticing the smell.
If you could let us know when anybody ends up finding the Silver Tongue Bard.
Well, yes, of course. You will be most likely among the very first to learn.
Thank you.
Especially now that we know that he is important in this, and the follower of a god who wishes you to become heroes.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna head out tomorrow morning on some new quests, so.
Very well. Have a good
Let
day.
us know if you need anything.
Of course.
And Fisher will leave without bowing. You know, he's weird.
Well,
Remy, as the last one out, is now very confused. It's like, wait, everybody else bowed, but Fisher didn't. So he's unsure of how to leave.
well, did the audience leave already?
Yeah, you left.
Audience also didn't bow, to be fair. Audience just gave a nod.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. Nod. All right.
All right, then he will follow audience's suit and just nod, and then rush out the door to catch up.
All three of them nod back. All right, and you all leave the room. If there is anything you'd like to discuss among each other as you're making your way back to your room, this would be the moment. If not, it's also a very perfect moment to end the session. Keeping in mind that Remy went back to the knowledge quarter to finish his studies.
I will
like
do
to-
one extra thing before Remy goes off to do that.
Okay.
Now, I debated with myself on which one would be appropriate for Fisher, and I decided that this one was the case just because sometimes you scare me sometimes. So Remy, as he is leaving, kind of turns to Fisher and kind of gestures to his hand.
My hand or your hand?
Your hand.
What's up, Ramy? I'll
It-
offer it.
He's just going to open the hand, and he is going to put into your hand a coin.
What's this? I mean, thanks. But, yeah.
Amy is going to minor illusion some sparkles and point to the coin.
Oh. Yeah, really, thanks. What's it do?
How would Raimi describe this? Uh, oh, got it. I don't know how many times I have to tell you your lucky socks need to be washed.
The lucky coin?
Raimi nods.
Man. I mean, yeah. Dang. I could definitely use. How long have you had this?
Raimi thinks for a moment. It's literally just been, what, 2 days?
Maybe 3.
It just like points up like 2 or 3 talents.
Then, yeah. Thanks. If you haven't had it for that long, then you definitely seem good enough at what you do that you don't need this. But
yeah, in case you weren't there for when this item was originally identified.
I don't believe I was.
Okay, cool. So I won't feel weird saying this. So once you attune to it, you basically have a lucky point.
So once a day, you can re-roll a roll that you made and take the better result.
Fisher goes down to his belt and pulls off a little rabbit's foot. And he just kind of tosses it over his shoulder. He's like, oh, that hasn't been working at all. So
we're going to take one that actually has.
Hopefully this one will do better. Thanks, Raimi.
Raimi gives a thumbs up and then starts running back to the knowledge quarter.
All right.
After getting thrown by that, I'd like shake it off a little bit and then catch up to Toby. Hey, Toby. About what you were saying in there about the, gods and pawns and all that stuff. I get it. I mean, there's nobody that wants to think prizes their own free will as highly as I do, but whether or not a path is laid for you, you're the one walking. You get to decide where you go.
I'll keep that in mind. I honestly, to be truthful, I don't like this one bit. If they had this information to begin with, why wouldn't they give it to us before? This whole secrecy thing just doesn't make sense to me. But I'll meditate and sleep on it, and hopefully I can come up with something.
I guess you haven't been around the garden for as long, but maybe this will help you make a little more sense of it. It is, I agree, it is annoying how secretive they can be about things, but as far as I've gathered, and assuming they were telling the truth in there, they didn't realize that Moss had influence here to start off with, and they operate under a very strict set of rules, one of which is not to interfere. They're just here to learn. Why they want to learn outside of general curiosity. Maybe they're looking for someone with somewhere to stay, seeing as there's a reason they left their homeworld. But they've very strongly stuck to not offering anything that hasn't been shown to be in this world already. And while it can be frustrating, I tend to operate under there are only so many friendly people in the world, and it's easier to find them if you don't judge them as enemies before they give you a chance to think of them as such.
All right. Well, I have one thing to tell you. If you have any dreams, I think we should all be open about it. As seeing that one of the main factors of the prophecy, if we're gonna follow that sort of guidelines. Yeah, that's pretty much all. I need to meditate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you for this conversation.
We try and be open about things in this group, especially when it pertains to everybody.
All right. Well, I hope you have a good wake. Wait, you sleep, right?
I probably will be tonight.
All right. Well, I hope you have a nice sleep. I'm going to go to my quarters now.
No.
I bow to
Remember,
Fisher and
keep an eye out for a feather.
Will do. And I head to my room.
All right. Anyone else? All right then.
Nope.
You all go back to your room, except Remy, who is going to study for half of the night. Brings back memories, you know, when you had to write those scrolls for 18 hours a day.
At least the lighting's better here.
Yeah, definitely. And you get to keep what you write at the end. So that's definitely better. So you all go back to your room, and apparently everyone sleeps. Although Remy is going to sleep a little later on, but he's gonna sleep also.
He's got midterms to study for.
Yeah.
Before I sleep, I will summon my cat. Use my level 2 spell slot.
Jeez. Okay. In your room, or you just go, you take a little detour by the arboretum, so it's
Probably a little detour.
Okay.
Really.
All right. Well, as you arrive in there, it's night. The stars are out. You do see Sarn, who is just standing there watching at the stars. As you arrive and summon your cat, he does turn toward you, and I don't know if it's disturbing or reassuring. to know that there is so much more out there than everything they have ever told us here.
I would go with exciting over either of those two words.
Maybe. Well, if nothing else, it does give value to the teachings of the exiled.
Yes.
Audience kills him.
Yes. Or the religion of the dragon.
Oh, I don't know much about your religion, so maybe.
I was like, have a good night. Start getting into it. It's too late to get it.
No, that's all right. Well, good night to you as well. You summon your cat and you see him. He just stays there and watch the stars. Of course, when you summon your cat back, the audience, you get we're not in the mountains anymore.
No.
I'm a bit sad about this, but I'm also really reassured for some reason. It's getting eerie out there.
Definitely. It's good to be back in, a place where I can feel like I can have a safe rest.
Yes. Yes, I do feel you more relaxed than usual. It's quite an interesting place you have here. Oh, and look, there's our tree. You see Harunak in the middle, somewhere in the garden part of the arboretum. Oh, there's a reassurance.
You can go hang out. You can go hang out with him if you want. I'm going to go back to my room, go to bed.
Okay. Well, good night then. And
Good night.
I'll call you if something weird's happened.
All right.
Makes a few steps and you hear in your mind, there's a gnome watching me. He says he wants a sample of my fur.
Say no. Say no to all gnomes.
Okay, I'm gonna move away.
Unless they offer you a lot of money, then you can consider it.
I don't have pockets.
On that
We are
interesting
adventurers at heart. Money? Sure.
On that
We're
interesting
becoming
note,
gnome whores.
you go back to your room. You sense Magna's confusion a little bit as you walk away. Money. Where do I put money?
Just tell him to send it to audience account.
What's an account?
Oh, goodness. I'm gonna have to check if your summon mount can actually talk a language the gnome can understand, or if it's
cannot.
just you.
They cannot.
Okay. Alright, so you go back to your room. Comfortable room. Small, but cozy. You can actually put whatever temperature you want in there, so it's cozy, cold, uncomfortable, freezing, but really cozy inside your bed as you want. And you'll
Or keep it at a nice cool temperature. Audience doesn't like things. There's a reason he has his shirt off all the time. He likes to keep his things a little more cool.
Nibbles.
feel the breeze.
Feel the breeze.
Alright. Alright, so everyone goes to sleep, and the night welcomes you in its arm, and your mind drifts off and you're gonna know if something happens next episode, because I don't want to go. If there is a dream sequence, I don't want to go into it 55 minutes after the normal.
I'm actually gonna head out. I'll see.
Well,
see you
we're
guys.
closing
Thanks,
right now, so-
everyone. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Good night. All right. Well, just like audience has just said, this is the end of the episode for today. So, I hope you all had a very pleasant evening. And apparently, next episode, we go back into adventure. Finding those monsters and getting those rewards and letting the players absorb this apparently very traumatic revelation for some of them. But interesting for
More
others.
existential dread.
Sorry?
I said more existential dread.
Well, yeah, no, now you have a whole lot of things to meditate on. You've got wonders, weirdness, dread, and the feeling of being used. No, Tobiyashi, you have your meditation cut out for you.
Yes.
Look,
Meditate.
let's be clear. There's probably going to be both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to meditate for an hour or two before I go to sleep.
All right. If there's anything you want to meditate on that you feel I should know, just send it to me during in our Discord.
Okay, will do.
All right. So, I hope you all had a very pleasant evening. I hope you are eager to see how this adventure keeps on going, as a few interesting elements have been revealed, especially in the second half of the episode. And we'll see you again next Wednesday or Friday if you missed the episode and you want to watch it from the start. As like to remind you, there's a rebroadcast on Friday, but it's for more of a Eastern time. It's 7:30, but Eastern time and not Western. And as always, if you enjoy the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also support the stream by making a donation, becoming a Patreon, subscribing on our Twitch. And if you can't do any of those, well, simply spreading the word will help so very much. So, thank you very much. Have a pleasant, whatever part of the day it is where you are right now. And we'll see you again next Wednesday. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.
Good night.
Janai.